Welcome back, everyone. It's been a couple of days since my last stimulus update. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you all had a really good Super Bowl weekend. Let me know in the comments if your team won, but there's been a lot of updates on stimulus. Now, this stimulus package is going to be massive. The question is, how big will it be? Of course, now Democrats want to approve those monthly payments for those who have children, as well as $1,400 stimulus checks. But now they're thinking about lowering the threshold so less people might qualify for those checks. So a lot of people are upset. We're also still not sure exactly how big that unemployment boost will be. We're going to cover all of that in this video, and we're also going to have a stimulus update specifically for those on Social Security benefits as well. But before we get into it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I'd also like to thank my sponsor, Webull. They've partnered with me to provide free stocks for my viewers, valued up to $1,800. It's completely free and takes 2 minutes. All you need to do is open an account using the link in the description of this video. Feel free to sell the stocks immediately to use the money if you'd like. Just make sure to fully open your account and then click on the green button that says Get Free Stocks. Okay guys, let's jump right into it. We have a lot of good news, and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is pushing for a massive stimulus. Of course, the details are still being negotiated, so we're still trying to figure out, will these monthly stimulus payments be approved for those who have children? Will everyone qualify for those $1,400 stimulus checks who qualified for the first 2 stimulus checks? And how big and how long will that unemployment boost last? Well, of course, we all know at this point, Democrats have complete control and can pass basically any stimulus they want. But even within the Democratic Party, there are disagreements as to how massive the stimulus package should be. Now, guys, with that said, this package will be relatively big. It's going to be about $2 trillion, but they're still trying to decide within their own party. Should we do the full $1,400 for everyone? Should we set the rules so less people qualify for the checks? Should we approve those monthly checks for those who have kids? There's a lot up in the air, but Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is pushing for massive stimulus. So let's see exactly what she had to say.
President Biden and Democrats are pushing forward with this $1.9 trillion relief package, but as you know, one of your predecessors from the Clinton and Obama administration, Larry Summers, suggested that it's just too big. It would flood the economy with too much money, and that could lead to rising inflation. Quote, whereas the Obama stimulus was about half as large as the output shortfall, the proposed Biden stimulus is 3 times as large as the projected shortfall. Why is Summers wrong? Why are you confident this will not cause rising inflation?
Well, first, Jake, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. I think the risks here, as Treasury Secretary, I have to worry about all of the risks to the economy. And the most important risk is that we leave workers and communities scarred by the pandemic and the economic toll that it's taken, that we don't do enough to address the pandemic and the public health issues, that we don't get our kids back to school. We have 10 million Americans who are unemployed and other.
I just want to point out that I love the fact that her first response is the people. The people need help. The people are struggling. Kids are starving. People cannot put roof over their heads. I love the fact that she has a people-first mentality. And let me know in the comments if you agree. Now, as far as inflation, she's pointing out the fact that even if inflation does occur, all they have to do is raise interest rates. And guys, we all know that interest rates are at all-time lows. And one thing they can do to avoid inflation or combat inflation is just to increase interest rates, guys. And we've been talking about this for years. The more money you pump into the economy, the more risk you create for inflation. But honestly, she is saying that that is a risk that we are willing to take in order to help the American people. And if it does occur, then we can simply raise interest rates in order to combat that. But guys, let me know in the comments if you agree. Let's see what else she had to say.
There are 4 million who have dropped out of the labor force, particularly women who have childcare responsibilities. We need to reopen our schools, make sure that.
See, reopening schools is huge because they want to reopen them, but they want to do so safely. not only so kids can get a higher quality of education, but also because people are losing their jobs because of this. People are having to stay home to take care of their kids because the kids are having school from home and they have no one to babysit, guys. And let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. So Janet Yellen is saying not only will this help kids get a better quality of education, but it will also help people go back to work. And this is one of the main reasons why Democrats want to approve those monthly stimulus payments for those who have kids. It's not just a freebie that they think is not deserved. It is because people are paying extra money to take care of their kids while they're learning from home, or they're simply quitting their job to take care of their kids. This is why people who have kids need extra stimulus this year. And let me know in the comments if you agree.
Children aren't falling behind, provide help. We already have way too many small businesses that are closing. We need to provide help to get them to the other side. And we've already seen 1.3 million state and local government workers, first responders, policemen, firemen, who have lost their jobs. And we need to get them back on the payroll. People are on the verge of losing the roofs over their heads. The package provides rental assistance. We have 24 million adults and 12 million children that are going hungry every day, and we need to provide them with food.
Guys, for a first world country, the U.S. is near the top as far as childhood hunger. That is completely ridiculous, guys. And Joe Biden's plan of giving people those monthly stimulus checks if they have kids, economists say it would cut childhood hunger in half by next year. This is why I strongly agree with this plan.
We have people suffering, particularly low-wage workers and minorities, and through absolutely no fault of their own, we have to get them to the other side and make sure this doesn't take a permanent toll on their lives. So we need a package that's big enough to address this full range of needs. And I believe that the American Rescue Plan is up to the job. My predecessor...
One thing I want to point out is the one thing this package is lacking is specific stimulus for those on Social Security benefits. Now, I do want to point out that those on these benefits are expected to qualify for that third stimulus check. However, it's simply not enough, and Biden promised to approve a $200 per month stimulus check for those on Social Security benefits for the entire year. So this would be a similar stimulus plan to that child tax credit that they want to approve now, except it would be specifically for those on Social Security benefits. Now, Biden hasn't spoken about that, and it's not expected to be included in the stimulus package. And that honestly really worries me because those on Social Security benefits need the help. Honestly, they're near the top of people that really need the help the most. Those people on Social Security benefits are on a fixed income. A large majority of them live in poverty. And I'm honestly really disappointed with Joe Biden so far because he promised to do this in his first 100 days. We're about almost a month in, and we still have not even heard him speak about it, guys. So if you're on Social Security benefits, guys, hang in there. Of course, you are expected to qualify for that third stimulus check, and they are expected to allow you to qualify even if you're an adult dependent. Now, a lot of people on Social Security did not get those first rounds of stimulus checks because someone else claimed them as a dependent. Now, Democrats have said they expect to allow adult dependents to get those stimulus checks, so that's good news. We still don't have confirmation of that, but that is what is expected to happen. Again, I'm going to continue to monitor that $200 per month stimulus for those on Social Security benefits, and I'll keep you updated as soon as we have any breaking news on that. But hopefully we will have good updates on that soon. So guys, don't forget to subscribe. I'll keep you updated as soon as we have any breaking news for those on Social Security benefits.
Has indicated that there's a chance that this will cause inflation to rise. And that's also a risk that we have to consider. I've spent many years studying inflation and worrying about inflation, and I can tell you we have the tools to deal with that risk if it materializes. But we face a huge economic challenge here and tremendous suffering in the country. We've got to address that. That's the biggest risk.
And as you noted, the unemployment rate is falling, and that does not take into account the millions of Americans who have left the labor force completely during the pandemic. I think 400,000 or so in the latest jobs report just gave up looking. After the Great Recession, it took almost 7 years to get employment numbers back to where they were. How long do you think it will take now to fully recover all the jobs we lost during this pandemic, including all the people who are jobless and have given up?
Well, the Congressional Budget Office issued an analysis recently, and it showed that if we don't provide additional support, the unemployment rate is going to stay elevated for years to come. It would take till 2025 in order to get the unemployment rate down to 4% again. We would have a long, slow recovery like we had after the financial crisis. But this package is going to really speed recovery. And analysis by Moody's and economists at the Brookings Institution show that very clearly, that we will get people back to work much sooner with this package, and that's really critically important.
Now, the part of the stimulus package that they expect to create jobs is mainly those that are targeted at beating the virus. Now, the quicker they can distribute the vaccine, the quicker they can expand testing and open schools back up, the quicker they can open restaurants, open bars, open hotels, really indirectly stimulate the economy by beating the pandemic, which would then help open up jobs. And the economists say that if they don't act quickly now, it would just take even longer to do so, further hurting not only millions of people personally, but also the economy as a whole.
There's absolutely no reason why we should suffer through a long, slow recovery.
Do you have a timeline, though, for full reemployment?
Well, I would expect that if this package is passed, that we would get back to full employment next year.
One of the main discussions right now.
Also, by full employment, they don't mean zero. They mean what it was before the pandemic, which I believe was about 3%, give or take.
Now in the legislation is about who should receive the direct payments from the stimulus package. Almost every senator agreed with a resolution that passed on Thursday to say that upper income taxpayers should not get direct payments. They did not define what constitutes an upper income taxpayer, which maybe is why it was so easy for them to pass it. What do you think the cutoff should be? 50,000, 75,000? Where do you come down?
Well, President Biden is certainly willing to work with members of Congress to define what's fair, and he wouldn't want to see
Okay, let's talk about this for a second, because this is really angering a lot of people. A lot of people who voted for Biden voted for those 2 Democratic senators in Georgia, and they were promised that next round of stimulus checks, and now Democrats are actually open to lowering the amount of people who would qualify. Now, of course, Republicans have said, hey, let's cut it off at $40,000 per year. If you make less than $40,000 per year, you'll still get that full stimulus check, but up to $50,000, it would be tapered down, and at $50,000, you would get nothing at all. $100,000 for couples. Now, it's being reported that Democrats are open to doing something similar, but raising the bar by $10,000. So essentially, if you made $50,000 or less, you would receive the full stimulus check, $100,000 per couple, and up to $60,000, it would begin to be tapered off. Once you reached $60,000 per year in annual income, you would receive nothing at all, and $120,000 per year for a couple. But guys, this is not what Democrats promised. They said you would get those stimulus checks. Now, of course, most people would still get them, but a lot of people make $60,000, $62,000 a year, like teachers, firemen, people who are on the front line, paramedics, people who are out there in the middle of this pandemic who voted for Biden and voted for those Senate Democrats because they were promised those stimulus checks. And honestly, I disagree. And people like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and AOC, they're fighting to maintain the same rules for this stimulus check as the previous stimulus checks. But of course, this is still all up in the air. We'll have to wait and see exactly what Democrats do, but it does seem like they might be breaking their promise to at least a few million Americans who would not qualify anymore. But with that said, Democrats are still negotiating. It's not set in stone, guys, but I'm a little bit worried because I do think some people are going to be left out of this next stimulus check. Also, in regards to those on Social Security benefits, the good news is you are expected to qualify for this next stimulus check even if you are an adult dependent. The only thing is you would still be restricted to the same income restrictions. So if your household income is above those restrictions, you then would either get a tapered down stimulus check or not get that stimulus check at all, if that makes sense. So basically, if you qualify based on your income, if you're on Social Security benefits, you should still be getting these next stimulus checks.
Household making over $300,000 receive these payments. But if you think about an elementary school teacher or policeman making $60,000 a year and faced with children who are out of school and people who may have had to withdraw from the labor force in order to take care of them and many extra burdens, he thinks, and I would certainly agree, that it's appropriate for people there to get support. So the exact details of how it should be targeted are to be determined, but struggling middle-class families need help too.
So you definitely think higher than $50,000 per individual, but you're not necessarily willing to commit to $75,000 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think the details can be worked out, and the president is certainly willing to work with Congress to find a good structure for these payments.
So the Washington Post editorial board is still pushing for a bipartisan deal. They wrote just yesterday, quote, Biden should exhaust the possibilities for compromise on COVID relief. But President Biden has also signaled he's ready to move forward without Republicans. Is the administration willing to pass this relief package with 0 Republican votes in the Senate, 0 Republican votes in the House?
Okay, guys, I've covered this in many of my videos recently. Biden is playing hardball. He says he's willing to compromise, but honestly, he even said, if it comes down between helping the American people and waiting for Republicans, the decision is easy. So he's willing to compromise, but on his terms. So Democrats are going to get the majority of what they want, even if they compromise with Republicans. But I'm going to be honest with you guys at this point. Republicans basically threw in the towel for the most part. I mean, we have a few Republicans like Mitt Romney out there still trying to compromise, but Democrats are going to use budget reconciliation. They're going to do what they want. So at this point, we're really just worried about the negotiations within the Democratic Party. Now, I know a lot of people are upset by that. Half of you that watch my channel are Republican, and you're sitting here saying, what happened to unity? What happened to bipartisanship? What happened to Biden saying that we needed to come together? Well, guys, I can't disagree with you. I mean, it's a little bit hypocritical, but I have to give you my opinion. If it comes to stimulus, if it comes to helping the American people during a crisis, I am okay with it. Just specifically with stimulus. This whole channel is about stimulus, and it's stimulus-centric, and it's apolitical. You know, I don't take sides, Democrat or Republican. I just want whatever's best for stimulus.
President Biden is strongly committed to working with all members of Congress in order to try to craft a package that addresses the needs of the American people. And as you know, he's met with Republicans who are interested in working with him to craft a proposal. The details of the package certainly can be negotiated over to try to craft something that's broadly acceptable. But we need a big package, and we need to get this done quickly. And those are things that the president is really committed to. So he wants to make sure that all the needs of the American people are addressed. It's important to extend unemployment insurance. It's important to have enough money to distribute the vaccine.
This is one thing Biden is prioritizing. Now, Republicans tried to push Biden to only extend unemployment benefits until the end of June or July. Now, Biden strongly opposed that. He said, nope, we're going until the end of September because this recovery is expected to be slow, guys. And this is why if you're on unemployment benefits, you can honestly expect this unemployment boost to go until the end of September, and it's going to be minimum $300. We are expecting a $400 per week boost. Of course, negotiations continue. We should have updates daily, so don't forget to subscribe. But as of now, that is what is expected to happen specifically with that unemployment boost.
But there are many more needs out there. and he wants.
Yes, many more needs like those on Social Security benefits. Where is the stimulus for those on Social Security benefits? Come on.
It's a package that addresses rental assistance, so people have roofs over their head, food, that they have enough to eat, and the full range of problems facing Americans.
You met with regulators from the Security.
Of course, guys, that rental assistance money is huge, not only to help millions of Americans directly, but also to avoid an eviction crisis, which would then tank the real estate market completely in itself. But overall, guys, that was really good news from Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and things are looking good. We're basically guaranteed a massive stimulus. The only question is, how massive will it be? Now, we do expect that monthly payment, so if you have kids, you can pretty much count on that monthly payment being passed, which would last 12 months and is expected to begin in June or July. We should be getting $1,400 stimulus checks. We also should be getting a $400 per week unemployment boost until the end of September. Of course, there's a lot of other things expected to be in this package. So guys, don't forget to subscribe. I will keep you updated. And again, those on Social Security benefits are expected to qualify for this third stimulus check, and I will keep you posted on that $200 stimulus per month stimulus specifically for those on Social Security benefits. We have yet to see Biden mention this, guys, but I will keep you posted. And if you made it this far into my channel, thank you so much for supporting my work. It really means the world to me, and I really do appreciate every single view. And my thoughts go out to each and every one of you during this hardship. I've had so many comments from people who truly deserve the help, guys. But with that said, make sure every single day you just keep taking one step towards a better tomorrow. And guys, stay strong out there. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.